Many of you will have no doubt this morning seen my post about my camera. To say I'm ticked off is a slight understatement. Obviously the camera still functions because that's what I'm recording on right now. But yeah, 40 years of owning cameras, from professional grade to prosumer grade to consumer grade. I have never had a camera stud break, a 1/4-20 stud break, the tripod mount. I have never had one come undone. I have never had one strip out. I'm damn sure never had one pull completely out of the body. Show you the difference for those of you who don't know. This is my little Fuji. This is my little waterproof camera that I use when I'm fishing. Even it has a metal stud into a metal body, and I have no doubt that there is a metal backer plate behind here against this bottom plate to add the structural strength. That thing is the plastic stud that's serrated around the edges to grip into a socket. And it's press fit into the plastic. No backer, no nothing. I'm not rough on my camera equipment. I never have been. Well, with the exception of this one. But this is $130 camera when I bought it. It's waterproof. It actually, I forgot if it's IP67 rated or 65, but it is a heavy duty camera. It's designed to be treated like that. This thing, I baby. It's either on that strap, you know, on my pack straps, I have the quick release mount on my belt. It's never even been hooked to a tripod. And that just reminded me to talk about this in a little bit because somebody messaged me asking about it. So yeah, I'm a little angry. I actually emailed Panasonic the support this morning. All I got back was their canned repair request that says it's been assigned to one of our team members and will be replied to within 24 to 48 business hours. I'm relatively sure that they're going to have to replace the camera. The only way that you can reasonably repair this would be to rebuild the entire bottom 2/3 of the camera, because the way the plastic body is molded, everything slides down into the base, because I kind of looked at an exploded diagram this morning. So that base is one piece, and they would have to take the top half of the camera out, including all of the electronics, and put it back together. And that's, I don't know what you call it outside of the military, but that would be called a depot level repair. So it's not a simple repair. Yeah. I'm pretty irritated. This is a good chunk of change. And my gut tells me that the Leica version is probably made the same. So I don't think it would have mattered whether I bought the Panasonic, the Lumix version, or the Leica version. I think this is an inherent design defect. I would be willing to say, well, yeah, this is a consumer camera, maybe it's acceptable, but this is a bridge camera, so it's not simple digital. It's not full-blown professional digital. It's a bridge camera in the middle in the prosumer grade. So it's supposed to be a slightly heavier construction. So yeah, I spent a good chunk of change on this, and I want it fixed or replaced. I'm trying to catch up I did a post this morning. It's, if I die tomorrow, what is the one thing that you would not forget about me? A couple of these are pretty freaking amazing, some of these comments, you know. That's good. A friend of mine's wife is a professional photographer. Sounds like they might have an idea. So we'll see. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with Facebook here. Just because if anybody posted any questions I missed. John Vetterly, good on you for the video, bud. That's really cool. Obviously, I didn't get a chance to do mine yet. It's a little nicer out this morning, so when I go back to the house, I will clean this out and start packing my gear in. You beat me to the punch on a comment I was going to make, because it's a problem I had last summer in the van. My gear was back there and it wasn't strapped in. You know, my boxes, my food boxes and everything. So that's actually something I have to look at this year, is figuring out a bungee system to hold everything down. Last year on the way up to the driftless, one time I had to hit pretty hard on the brakes and everything slid forward. And having been an MP in the Army and working TAI, traffic accident investigations, my first thought after that was LFO, loose flying objects. So I do not want to be in a vehicle accident and killed by secondary impact. So yeah, I have to actually look at bungeeing that down. If you watch this video, what were those straps you had in there? You have like a heavy duty, looks like a rubber type bungee rather than the fabric-y bungee, you know, with the rubber in the middle and the braided cover on the outside. I guess I could go to a truck stop, but surely they'll have something in the truck stop. But I don't want to go to a truck stop right now. Yep, Anthony, still waiting on the next video. All right, so I'm taking this apart so that you can see the way it comes. Somebody asked me yesterday in a message about my, I'll just wrap it up this way for now, the handheld, the selfie stick I was using, and then I said it was a tripod. Well, it is. This is called an Ultrapod. It's a brand name. This is the Ultrapod 2. Once I get in there where it can focus on it. So it has this ball joint, top and bottom, has the 1/4-20 thread, and pretty much like you see on any tripod. So obviously you can adjust this to any number of positions. I realize it's kind of hard to see because it's dark on a dark background. What I think the biggest advantage to this is, not only is it a handheld for stabilization or whatever, you pull out the little legs, it forms a small tripod with the legs in the closed position. It has these rubber grips right here, which allow you to strap it around anything. Right? And then when you get it to the right width, you bring the strap back around and it velcros it onto something, and the rubber prevents it from sliding. It works very well on any number of poles. However, on my trekking poles, because I typically go with lighter weight carbon fiber poles, they're too skinny for it to get a good grip. So I'm going to do a modification and put rubber strips on the inside of the two folding legs, because when it's in the closed position, they make contact with the pole, with whatever you put in there. So by adding rubber to it, I'll get some additional bite force instead of just relying on this and the Velcro. The add-on to hold your cell phone, I'm going to assume that's pronounced Ayun. This was the better one I could find on Amazon because not only is it adjustable for a variety of cameras just by twisting this set screw up and down, on the bottom, so this is where it goes into the mount, into the pole, or into the tripod. So let me get this started in there. Oh, by the way, this is a good example of the way it is on the bottom of this Panasonic camera, this Lumix. It's a plastic body with a metal stud. This one in this case is brass, but it's just press fit into a hole. This I would expect to break. I think it was like $15 anyways, but all right, so I digress. And yes, I'm still angry. I'm gonna be angry about this one for a while, that camera. All right, so now that we're in position like it would be on the actual tripod, you can hold the camera in landscape or in portrait and then turn it into landscape so the camera goes this way. So that's a very handy capability. This one has another trick up its sleeve in that it has an additional 1/4-20 mount. So you could mount on a plastic or metal hot shoe to hold an external microphone, like I have right now mounted on the Lumix. I will take a picture of this. Let's do it this way. Trying to get it highlighted so you can see it. I will superimpose that over over this spot in the video, but yeah, I have a Rode microphone mounted on the top of the camera because the internal mics on this are meh. Although they are stereo left and right, the audio quality is not the greatest. So yeah, Karen, I hope that answers your question. I think all told this was $40, $45. Not an expensive tripod. I liked it because it's small, and if I need a stick or need to mount it to a tree to take a video, like I did one for my daughter of me just running by the camera and jumping over something, it's a great simple little system. Folds down relatively compact. It would be a little tighter if this was closed up all the way. Very light. It's probably 6-7 ounces maybe. All right. Was there any other questions? Nobody's posting questions. We talked about sunglasses one time, native. So those are my fishing specs. Oh, actually they're good overall. They're a polarized lens. I like native. They're not terribly expensive, not cheap, but I used to love Smith optics, but I don't like the frame styles anymore. They're too yuppie, too urban. I don't know how to describe it. You guys can tell I'm a little bit more traditional when it comes to glass frames. And I'm trying not to be insulting. Looking out for yesterday's video. I did see bobcat tracks today. I didn't think you got a photo of them, though. I should have. Hindsight, right? I'm I'm just going back to yesterday's video to see if there was anything I missed on it. I shared John Vitterly's... Is that right? Vetterly. I knew it was wrong the second I said it. I shared his video on my timeline yesterday of his vehicle tour. So mine's not that fancy. I don't do a lot of off-roading. Obviously, I can't. Oh, yeah, it was just a thing with Carl talking about me touching my face. Again, I cleaned my hands prior. I was going to say I'm at a preserve and I'm alone, but that's not the case today. Damn, Cook County's closing down all their parks towards the city, so everybody's migrating out this way. A, I'm not happy with that, and B, people, you need to exercise common sense. Stay in your area. If you're not sick, you're coming out here and risking contamination and then returning back to your area. If you're contaminated, you're bringing it this way. I think it's relatively common sense, but some people don't understand it. All right. Oops, it's in my pocket. And I'm off camera a little bit, sorry. I have to load this back in here. So, let's remove a couple personal things out of there. Shit kit. It's not necessarily a shit kit by name, but things that are in it. TP. My deuce of spades I actually have soaking so I can clean it. So this one is the Vargo titanium. It is a tool to dig a hole. You don't poop on the ground. Bury it. Dig a hole. You know what size target you need. I would say dig at the depth of the tool. Probably 8 inches, 9 inches. But maybe deeper. And probably the width of the tool. Cover it up. Put everything back in there. Hide it. There's nothing worse than going down the trail and seeing something that you know is not from a dog. Other things in the shit kit. Things I always keep. KT tape for blisters. I don't know if you guys have seen this. In my younger days, all we ever used was moleskin. Now there is KT tape, kinesiology tape. This one from KT Tape is their Performance Plus line. Whatever. It's just a name. Much better than moleskin. So yeah, that's blister prevention. Gold Bond powder. Gotta have powder. Powder the boys, powder your feet. Ladies, I'm pretty sure the same rule applies. Speaking of the boys, nut butter. I don't need to tell you what that's for. Friction and chafing. Lens cloth. Speaking of which, oh no, I got one out. All right, that's the contents of the shit kit. Simple, straightforward. Everything you need to take care of yourself. Let's see. Next, the other thing that's normally in this pack, but I finished the one package, so I need to get a Ziploc so I can transfer some into it. Wet wipes. This is a brand Can't remember the brand. Surviveware. Whatever. But I saw somebody using them in the preserve one day and happened to ask them about them. And they came highly recommended from him. They don't necessarily have a smell to them at all. It's just water, a whole bunch of words I can't pronounce. Citric acid, aloe, polysorbate 20, propylene glycol, and dipropylene glycol. It's just a wet wipe. But these are formulated. You can use them on your body too. They don't burn. I have done I can't think of a tactful way to put it. Cleaning up all of your pits. Let's just put it that way, top and bottom. And they work fine. I don't know, some of you have probably heard the term. In the Army, we called it a whore bath. So you just hit the critical areas and off you go. I never said I was couth. I'm rude, crude, and socially unacceptable. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing new today. We're at 21 minutes, so I'll keep an eye on that. Let's see, somebody was talking about what apps I use for my mapping and etc. The number one the primary I'm using right now is called Gaia, Gaia. I actually really enjoy Gaia because it allows me to download additional maps. I'm not stuck with just their maps. I know most of the other ones do, but I don't like the way they work. I also use AllTrails once this starts up for finding local trails that I don't know of, or a different route. I think AllTrails is a good all-around app for those of you just looking to get out and walk. It's not a good app for running necessarily, as it doesn't track well because the routes in there are pre-programmed routes. So anytime you vary off of a trail or you take a shortcut that's not part of their route, it starts to beep at you. I'm sure there's probably a way you can turn it off, but I found it just annoying enough that I just stopped using it for running altogether. Google Maps, obviously, is another one that I commonly use to find places. The other one, and I forgot the name of it as I started it up. App info. I think it is just the hiking project. This one came recommended from REI. I'm not sure if it's their product directly, but they are part of the project. They're one of the sponsors for sure. The hiking project, actually, their trail layouts are quite good. This one actually shows you a lot of the trails that I have hiked. So from your current location, like many of the others, it gives you trails that are in the area. AllTrails does the same thing. But I do like the interface for the hiking project much better. If you're not familiar with reading topographic maps, it's not complex. It's not hard to learn. You can learn it pretty simple. But they just take a lot of the guesswork out for the people that aren't familiar with reading topographic maps. This one actually uses shaded reliefs as opposed to... That's a good question. Can I I can change it. All right, I changed to satellite view, but nope, it only gives the shaded relief rather than topographic views. So let me get in here and into Gaia, and let me find a nice hilly area. Turn back on some detail here. I keep the detail turned down a fairly good bit on these maps, but it's a full relief topographic map. You can see there's multiple brown lines in there, and each brown line is an inclination mark. So you can follow the line, like there's this darker one straight below the P and the R in preserve, and you can actually see the height measurement, 675 feet. If there's not one right there, just follow the line a little bit and you'll find the height preservation, the indication mark. The closer together brown lines are, that tells you it's a steeper position. So each level is closer together, which means it's a higher incline. Flatter, they get wider and more spread apart, which like here on the top shows you that it's a wider, flatter knob on the hill. Lots of different features, like there you can see there's two hilltops with a depression in the middle, which is called a saddle. This right here is a slough from a glacial drift. Actually, on the video the other day, I was showing you a glacial lake in the background where I was walking, and that's it right there, Saganashky Slough. These are all, this area around here is heavily glaciated from where they came down through Lake Michigan down into northern Illinois. I could do a map reading class if you guys want to do one of those. Ironically, even my my handkerchief has a map on it. That was always one of my favorite things in the Army, was map reading. I don't know if I showed this the other day. My daughter, wow, that is some strong Velcro. So my daughter bought me for my birthday a running belt. It's just like a spandex belt that goes around your waist. It's about that wide, and it has room for water and a couple gels, and I thought that was a pretty good one. But the other one she bought me was a Sunto wrist compass. That was a good gift. That's thinking ahead. She knows her dad, that's all I can say. And the Velcro on this stuff is ferocious. So I keep it on my pack so I don't lose it, on my lunch bag. Velcro it back on there. Don't know. Yeah, we can talk about map reading. We can talk about running. Whatever you guys want to get to know. Can't tell. It looks like it's a little dark. I can fix that in the edit. Alright guys, that's it. That's enough for today. If you've got questions, post them down below and I'll try and answer them. Or just message me on Facebook and I'll answer them in the next... It's not really a podcast. It's a vodcast, a video cast. But yeah, we'll get these up. I'll try and do them every day for a while I can. As long as you guys make it, you know, something you want to do. If there's questions, again, ask them in the comment. Send me a message. And we'll get them answered. This is a funny one here. It's an orange. Wait for it to stabilize. Subaru just came in with a mountain bike on the top. And it's just funny because it's got a baby seat on the back, so it looks really bizarre, but they are, I don't really want to go shooting video of people and piss them off. But hey, they're getting out. I just wish Chicago had a distinguishing plate so we could see how far they came to travel in the woods here. Try to get that window cracked open a little bit more. It's getting warm. All right, folks, we'll end this one here. Again, see you tomorrow. Be good. Be well. Take care.